Hey there, practice of the practice community. Are you ready to take your private practice to the next level? Then mark your calendars for September 16th through 19th, 2024, because Level Up Week is back and bigger than ever. Insert rocket emoji here. Join us for 4 days of live webinars, interactive panels, and exclusive resources tailored just for counselors, therapists, and private practice owners. Whether you're looking to fill your caseload, hire your first clinician, or scale your group practice, we've got you covered. This is your chance to level up while others give up. Don't miss out on this game-changing event. Register now at practiceofthepractice.com/level up and get ready to transform your practice. Remember, September 16th through 19th, Level Up Week, your ticket to practice success. Register today and let's level up together. practiceofthepractice.com/level up. This is the Practice of the Practice podcast with Joe Sanok, session number 1062. I'm Joe Sanok, your host, and welcome to the Practice of the Practice podcast. I hope you are getting geeked out for September 16th to 19th for our 2024 Level Up Week. We are going to be doing 4 days, 16 webinars that are live, that you're going to get to hang out with us for every single phase of private practice. So you can register for all of those over at practiceofthepractice.com/level up. You can read about them, you can register, you can tell your friends. We have some panels. Some of the panels we have are around starting a practice if you're brand new, starting a group practice if you're moving into group, or just rocking out a group practice. And we have all sorts of other things over there. You're going to want to register for those so that you can get the recordings if you're not going to be able to attend them as well. So again, that's practiceofthepractice.com/level up. Well, I don't know how you feel about marketing. We've been covering a few different things about marketing in the last few episodes. We talked about kind of intakes and sales. We talked about some kind of meaning of life and creativity stuff in the last episode. We talked about entrepreneurial women thinking bigger, but we haven't talked as much about really being strategic around the way you're thinking about marketing, the way you're thinking about expanding. And that's why I'm so excited to have Peter Lewis with me. Peter is a fractional CMO and has usually been brought in when CEOs have a lot of data and metrics for marketing, but they don't see the path for turning that into revenue growth. Peter, welcome to the Practice of the Practice podcast.
Happy to be here, Joe. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, I am so excited to have you here. I always love geeking out on marketing stuff with people. Let's just start with, has marketing been something you've been into for a long time, or was that something that you kind of discovered in your career? How did the marketing world show itself to you?
Embarrassing fact, I've never taken a marketing class in my life.
High five, me either.
I learned how to do marketing with my own money. I started down the entrepreneurship route when I was 27 years old, living in South America. I was a full-time professor at the University of Chile. I was starting to become a CNN correspondent, and I didn't know how to get out of kind of that academic role talking about politics. And I applied to a bunch of jobs, and nobody would hire me because I was overeducated with a master's and almost finished my PhD. And I said, no one will hire me, then I'll hire myself. And I started a travel company, and I had to learn marketing on the go with my own dollars spent.
Yeah, there's something about when you're spending your own money, you really want to get as much out of it as possible.
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of like when you start negotiating on Facebook Marketplace, you're trying to save $20 on that used couch. Same thing when you're running your own practice, or your own mom and pop shop, or, selling tires or fixing windshields.
Yeah. Now, before we started rolling, we were talking a little bit about kind of what our plan was. And you have kind of 3 big areas that you see as being just low-hanging fruit for marketing with therapists. I'd love to just start there and then see where our conversation goes.
Sure. I think before kind of introducing the 3 ideas, and then we can go down whichever channel you're interested in, I think it's important, especially for your audience, to know, I think that it is such low-hanging fruit for professionals in the mental health space to take advantage of marketing because it's their personal brand. And I work, in the intro, I work with lots of CEOs of medium to large companies. And usually the first thing I tell them is don't necessarily market your company. If you have a stakeholder, an executive, a CEO, a VP, or, I worked in long-term care. If you have a CNA who is just awesome, let that person express themselves, and that will turn to be part of your company brand. Well, mental health providers, they are their own professional company brand. They don't have to worry about that distance between communication with a corporate brand. They are the brand, and I think that is the easiest place to start. If you feel discouraged, I think you have the easiest place to start, which is with you and what you think and your interesting questions and how you express yourself. So, Joe, with that as an introduction, I think the three things that I would feel comfortable giving advice around because of experience I've had would be around creating engaging content in a video format. Secondly, talk about how if you're not particularly great at tools or remote marketing or supervising people, you're kind of a one-man show or one-woman show. Give you some advice around how to get started with remote offshore marketers who are smart and a lot less expensive and know how to do things without wasting your time getting together and driving a car across the city. And then lastly, how to use courses to grow, a more sales term, grow your pipeline, grow your practice. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, let's just start right at the top and dig into that. And then I'm sure I have some follow-up questions.
What I like to do when someone says, I know that I should create video content, but I don't know how. I don't know how to edit it. I don't know what I should talk about. I feel uncomfortable. I usually recommend doing one of two things. Go to Google Trends or just Google what are common questions people use on the internet around your expertise. So, if it's family counseling, if it's parenting, if it is, fits with 6-year-olds or whatever it is, go ask what are questions people are asking the internet about that. Or ask a friend what are the first questions they think about with that topic and just write them down. And then ask your best friend to ask you those questions with the camera on. Use your cell phone. You don't need anything else. And just answer them. So if you don't feel comfortable in front of a camera and you don't know what to talk about, go see what everyone's asking Google. Give your cell phone to a friend and have your friend ask those questions and you answer it. The first 5 to 10 times you do it, you're probably going to feel really uncomfortable. Who cares? Social media works better than corporate media because it's authentic. That's why TikTok is doing such a great job and growing. It feels real. So don't be afraid to be real. As a marketer, and as speaking to therapists, vulnerability is an asset. Is an asset, when you're working with a patient, and as a marketer and trying to position someone as having a personal brand, vulnerability is an asset. So you being vulnerable and feeling uncomfortable being on camera is going to connect fine with your audience because they would feel the exact same way. So I would start there and see if you have any follow-up questions there, Joe.
No, I love that idea of just starting with a little bit of data of what people are searching for and then just answering it to a friend. There's so many different people that I follow on TikTok that they're just giving their points of view. And then I follow them because I love the different things they're into or that they're sharing or knowledge or whatever, my thing is that I'm looking for. And that idea of talking to somebody else about it instead of directly to the camera. I mean, I think that plays well too, because it looks like it's an interview. Sometimes it looks like this person's, being interviewed on some fancy podcast instead of just like looking straight at the camera. So I think there's also that side of just like the image side of, oh, someone else cares enough to interview you. That's amazing. Wow. Look at that. And it could just be, you're literally just talking to your best friend in your backyard, but nobody knows that.
Yeah. And one thing to make it a little bit more colorful, and I think when I say this, it's going to seem so self-evident, so obvious, but sometimes people forget at the beginning, add in your personal opinion, add in a little bit of sense of humor, right? Like, and I just did a pitch to a journalist to give me a backlink to my website, give me a quote on their article for a major media outlet, and then also they asked me to do a video. And the whole video was about what is it like to be a traveling CEO of my company? Because I spend about 6 months on the road. And they said, I want it to be like 5 different tips for airports and Airbnbs and so forth. Well, that seems really, really general that I don't even want to make a video that's 3 minutes long about travel tips. That sounds so boring. Well, just add in your personal story, right? Like 2 weeks ago when I was on an airplane, a flight attendant dropped their coffee on my computer and my computer died within 2 minutes. Same thing if you're a mental health therapist and you're doing a video on TikTok and the question is how do I talk to my 9-year-old kid about having grit because I think that they are going to be set up for failure because they don't know how to overcome their frustration. Well, if I'm your patient and I came to you and asked you that question, right, which I might because I have a kid about that age who needs a little bit more grit, just remove my name and tell as much story as you can without breaking any of your ethics or any laws, and add some color to it, and that's going to resonate with everyone. And it's not, you're not going to feel as generic like 5 tips of traveling. If Delta flight attendant dropped the coffee on your computer, say it.
Yeah, I love that idea. I think that I got to go back to, so you said I was pitching this major news corporation, and I'm sure working for CNN didn't hurt, but just any quick tidbits on how to do that.
Oh, this ties into the second topic, which is around working with remote marketers on a budget, which is there exists probably 10 tools that I could find for anyone in your audience today that costs less than $50 a month, that set up simple automated systems for you to find journalists, podcasters, bloggers, people with websites trying to get quotes, people on LinkedIn. And what they do is they are sending a message out saying, hey, I need a quote on kids who need grit, or I need a quote on CEOs who travel a lot. And all of this can be done with an offshore marketer who can set up all these tools for you and do it on an inexpensive budget, on affordable budget. And then you will get quotes in well-known pieces of media. And that's an example of one that I did. So like I sent in a pitch of 5 tips. In the pitch, I talked about how you should back up everything on your computer with Google Drive so that anything that's downloaded immediately gets cut over to Google Drive, which is what I do. I think I pay, $5 a month to have all of my information on Google Drive. And the reason is because when someone drops coffee on your computer and I buy a computer the next day, I didn't lose any of my data. And that's exactly what happened. So now that person, the journalist who took that pitch, she came to me, she sent out something on one of these tools saying, hey, I need a pitch about these tools. I responded, I have a great pitch for you, and it's funny. She said, that's wonderful. And then she replied, she goes, can you make a video out this? I have a big YouTube audience, and I'll put it on YouTube as well. So what ended up being me just getting a backlink and getting my name out there with a unique quote that people might remind me or come visit my website turned into a video now where people are going to get my personality, get my sense of humor, see how I handle frustration of, my computer dying one day to the next, and then I'll get a bigger audience. And I feel that, you could do the process I just shared within 2 months on a budget of hiring someone probably $1,000 a month to do all of that full time with $100 in tool. And by month 2, you're going to start having 2 to 5 quotes per month. And then I would say by month 6, you're probably going to start booking 10 to 20 quotes per month. It just exponentially grows.
Wow. Okay. I love it. Yeah. Obviously, when you have those backlinks and you have that kind of notability and you can say as seen on and then fill that in, I mean, that's really helpful. I know that for me, with Thursday is the New Friday, working with a publicist to do a lot of that was really helpful to be able to have those backlinks and that authority that stood behind the book. I am so excited about Alma. When I had my private practice, I struggled building my caseload, attracting the right clients, managing the business side. And honestly, one of the reasons I didn't take insurance was it was so difficult to navigate. So many of my consulting clients deal with these problems as well. And Alma supports clinicians in building rewarding private practices with simplified insurance credentialing in under 45 days, enhanced reimbursement rates, and guaranteed 2-week payback, plus a free profile in their searchable, filterable directory, making it easy for clients who are the right fit for your practice to find you. Learn more about how Alma could support your private practice at helloalma.com/Joe. That's helloalma.com/Joe to learn more. Let's go into that second tip of kind of working more remotely and virtually. What are some things around that in marketing that you think about?
I think I would start with probably two things. Uh, Two things. One is around time, and the second one is around things that you're not good at or you don't like doing. And a generalist marketer, someone who's done maybe 3 years of marketing experience at an early entry position, maybe they've done a good internship. This person is going to have access to tools that are going to save you a lot of time. So booking, scheduling, rescheduling. Like for this podcast, I think I rescheduled with Joe. He had a link. Everything hit my calendar. He had probably a remote teammate who handled all of that for me. I'm guessing his teammate went through my pitch to him about why I wanted to be on the show, vetted me. Like an entry level marketer is going to be do almost everything that prepared my conversation with you today, Joe, from a time point of view. And secondly, a generalist marketer who is 25 to 28 years old is going to be good at a whole bunch of these simple marketing ideas that we're talking about that you're not good at or you don't like doing. So, for example, pitching to journalists, I don't like doing, but an entry level marketer will be able to do it. Or I don't like clearing my schedule next week on Tuesday because my wife, told me, hey, our son has a school outing and we have to change the date. They moved from Monday to Tuesday for whatever reason. And I don't want to do that. Well, generalist marketer is going to do all of that for you. They're going to do it with tools because it's going to make their job easier. That way you'll be able to track what's being done and so forth. So like another example around, a remote marketer, I would say you don't necessarily need to be great at managing someone remotely if that person has already been successful as working as a remote marketer. And you just need to be honest enough with them saying, hey, I don't know how to use Slack. I barely know how to sort my emails. I'm a great therapist. I work 9 to 4. I only have 1 hour break where I can check your messages beforehand. How do we do this? Just present that to a marketer, and they're going to say, "How about we do the following? Let's have a check-in call on Monday at 9 a.m. where I'll tell you all the things that I'm going to do from a marketing point of view, and then let's have a check-in call on Thursday when you close your computer at 3 or 4 o'clock, and tell me all of the administrative things that you need me to do for next week." And they're going to say, hey, you don't know how to use Slack. What we're going to do is we're going to create something right inside of Google. You already have Gmail. It's called Notes, and we'll just keep our agenda in there. I'll strike through everything that I finished. Anything that I don't have finished, I'll leave it as red, as like bottlenecked, and we'll just cover that. And, run your first month or 2 months or 3 months working with a remote marketer, very simple on just a notepad, digitally speaking. And a person's going to be motivated. They're going to feel like they're kind of the CEO of your company, right? They're doing all the work to help you grow, and you're doing what you're great at, which is being the face of your company and helping people with their lives. Let this person repurpose what you do well in a digital space so you can help more people, make more money, have more time with your family, whatever it is your objectives are.
Mm. Yeah, well, let's go into the third one. So you're talking e-courses and how that could fit into kind of this puzzle.
Yeah, I believe that in the world right now, post COVID, most people have their email inbox oversaturated, right? So, and to give you a little bit of marketing history or put this conversation in context, February 2020, I would guess that there were 50% of successful companies, mom and pop shops, were doing completely fine without ever sending an email to their customers. So they might have been a car wash, they might be a Ford dealership, they might be a concert venue, they might be running everything off Facebook, not sending emails. Well, COVID came around and everything shut down, and everybody had to communicate with their people in email for, 1 month, 5 months, some states a year, year and a half. Teachers, doctors, everything. And so now everybody's communication with their companies, with their providers, is saturated over email. So you can't depend, in my opinion, on an email list as much as you could back in 2019 or early 2020. The way to get around that without paying a fortune, because like big brands, if Joe and I had a company, with a large practice and we had 10 therapists and hundreds of clients, we might have the budget to pay for ads, but most people don't know how to pay for ads. They don't have the money to pay for ads. Then the way to growth hack email being overused and ads being too expensive is to create video content between, because when you're in between someone's ears, and anyone who listens to Joe's show knows that you've fallen in love with his questions, with Joe's approach, with the way that he helps you, and it's partially because he has his message in your ears every single day, and that message sticks better than if he were a professional email copywriter. And the same thing goes with video. So take whatever it is that you do really well. So let's just go back to grit. Okay. I'm in that space as a parent. If you're really good with teaching 5-year-olds to 12-year-olds to have a little bit of grit around frustration, or helping me as a parent learn to be a better parent, how to work with my son that way, do a 5-minute or 10-minute webinar, record yourself, do a three slides on a PowerPoint, or hire one of those remote marketers to design this for you, and then just teach us in 5 minutes or 10 minutes on what are the basic steps. And like everybody thinks they might be able to learn how to do something with a 5 or 10-minute video. But the honest truth is they don't have the time, they don't have the resources, they don't have the experience, they don't have the practice to do it. So they realize that you're the expert, you teach them in 5 or 10 minutes, and then you invite them to explore it on their own, or if they need more tools, more support, they could reach out to you and you can do it in depth. This works for me. This educational video recorded webinar that you can put on automatic play on your website, on all your social media, works for me from when I worked with enterprise software for private equity. It works right now that clients that I have that are building out their personal brand, works even in the banking space. If you're talking about new products, teach people about new products through video and bring them in that way. And, any entry level marketer will be able to design that 10-minute webinar for you around a topic that you're already smart at. They'll have a call to action at the end to get the person to sign up for more, where you can drip out those tips to them. You could send them the PowerPoint. You could give them a downloadable tool. They're going to trust you. They've listened to you. And then now you're going to be able to engage with them, and they're going to be part of your audience and become fans of you, or ambassadors of your messaging.
I love that you use the term ambassador. I know that my therapist, who I see, he's just been such a great fit for me over the years, and I've probably sent him probably 15 or so friends, and he's constantly full. And he said, but if you refer people to me, I'll find a way to get them in. I know that's something that you've said also is a selling point for how to improve marketing. Will you dig into that a little bit for me?
Yeah, I think I learned this from a sales guy, Damien, who taught me, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. I was selling large corporate packages for my travel company in South America. So I was bringing down, Mary Kay corporate best salespeople. And this guy was training me on how to sell large packages, 100, 200, $300,000 packages. And he told me one simple truth. People are happiest with your service or product the day they buy from you. And he says, you never ever give a discount unless they're going to refer more people to you or pay a significant sum up front. And then the second thing that he taught me is you always ask for referrals as soon as you've delivered the first product that's going to make them happy. So, in Joe's case, if he's my therapist and my first day with him, I absolutely love it. Then he needs to take advantage of the fact that I am on cloud nine. I feel like he's helped me discover something that I didn't see. He's given me a path to solving it, improving my communication, whether it be with my wife or my son or my parents or whomever. And then, he says, one of the things I love doing, Peter, is helping people on this. You feel like you're an ideal person. If you have any other friends or family who are in the exact same space, I'll always make room for them because this is kind of the thing that I love doing. That you use whatever ethical terms you feel comfortable with, but you need to ask your happy patients, happy customers to recommend you. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why would Joe spend money on Facebook ads or TikTok or Google search ads to go find other people like me if he has Peter in front of him? I know 10 other people look like me. We hang out in cliques, right? Like, go look at my LinkedIn, go look at my Facebook. A lot of people in my social network look like me, and we have similar problems. The majority of my friends have kids my age. The majority of my friends that have kids my age have the same problems that my kid has. So just ask me. Peter, know anyone else who would benefit from these services? Anyone else who could help? Feel free to make an introduction. And that simple marketing muscle motion will have a bigger return on investment than any other marketing thing that I can think of. And there's simple ways to set up tools around that, but just get into the habit of asking. And I love. There's I'm not going to remember who told me this. I think it's Tim Ferriss or maybe it's Neil Patel, but they always said, you need to feel comfortable with someone saying no. And that's really hard for a while. So just every single time you go into Starbucks, ask a person if you can have $1 off your coffee. Well, they're going to say no every single time. So feel comfortable with that. And if you can get comfortable with asking people, then you're going to really be able to grow your practice. And it's a lot easier than asking to take $1 off coffee for someone to recommend you other people, right? You know that you just delivered an amazing service, amazing session to me. I'm hot to share the word. You just need to remind me.
Well, I think that I like that you said ethical as you were talking about that. So everyone's got their own comfort levels of how they'll do that, your own ethical guidelines. Yeah, we obviously can't ask for direct testimonials, but there's ways to say, if I'm growing my caseload, if you know anybody and feel comfortable and feel like breaking that confidentiality is okay with you, looking at that to make sure that you feel good about that. But so often we go on the other side of just being mute and quiet and just assuming people know. Even I've seen therapists that just, by the door, they say, I'm never too busy for your referrals. And then it just has a stack of their cards there. And so, something like that could even be so small and so direct. And, I love referrals from my clients. And then there's a stack of cards. So find that way that you can dig in. Peter, the last question I always ask is, if every private practitioner in the world were listening right now, what would you want them to know?
You have an amazing advantage of growing your practice and growing your brand because it's you. Don't worry about the name of your company. Don't worry about, some important solution that you know how to solve. You are you, and that is your way to growth. It doesn't require money or energy. You just need to accept it and lean into it. And there's 20, 30, 40 different marketing motions you can do to grow your own name. You already have it. You don't have to come up with a website. You don't need me. You don't need one of those entry-level marketers. Accept that, and now you're going to find a unique way where you know how to share that. Whether that means, you're speaking at a at a at a at a high school event about what you're passionate about, or maybe you're on a Rotary Club. You are your brand. Accept that, and that's where I think you need to start.
So awesome. Well, if people want to connect with you, Peter, where should we send them?
Come find me on LinkedIn. I think I am the only Peter Murphy Lewis on LinkedIn. I check it every single day. I like to, help out people starting off all the way up to enterprise. I have a free audit on my website where I won't charge you $1, and I'll give you an idea on how you can take any of this advice and put it into action.
So awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the Practice of the Practice podcast today.
My pleasure. Thanks, Joe.
So many great tips. We've got a ton more podcasts coming up in the next month in our lead up to Level Up Week. As you know, we are doing these daily now. So make sure you're checking them out. Listen, find the ones that you resonate with, share it with your friends. So many really great things that are going on. And we've got some great guests coming up as well. Also, we couldn't do this show without our amazing sponsors. Today's episode sponsor is Alma, and Alma helps support clinicians in building rewarding private practices by making it easier to connect with clients who are the right fit for your caseload. They do simplified insurance credentialing in under 45 days, enhanced reimbursement rates, and a guaranteed 2-week payback. Guaranteed 2 weeks. So you're going to get your money. It's not just hanging out there. So visit helloalma.com/Joe to download your free guide to identifying and connecting with your ideal clients as well. You're going to get some discounts as well over at Alma, that's ALMA.com/Joe to get your guide. Thank you so much for letting me into your ears and into your brain. Have an amazing day. I'll talk to you soon. Special thanks to the band Silence is Sexy for that intro music, and this podcast is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information in regard to the subject matter covered. It is given with the understanding that neither the host, the producers, the publishers, or guests are rendering legal, accounting, clinical, or other professional information. If you want a professional, you should find one.